to Daytime, presented by California Closets. I'm Farron Hip.
I'm Maggie Rodriguez. Thank you for joining us today. What you just witnessed was not your ordinary juggling. That was the work of a 3-time world champion juggler. And not only that, he's a Guinness World Record holding sword swallower.
That's right. And the list could go on and on, as he's also a yoga instructor, professional entertainer, and as of this year, a published author. He released Stories That Move, My Life in Many Allegories. And Bill Berry joins us now. Bill, thanks for being here.
Very nice work.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
You know, when I hear juggling, I just think, I guess, of someone staying put, but you move all around. You do all sorts of things on top of the juggling.
Oh, of course. Yeah, you want to keep it dynamic and move through the space and change it up. And juggling can be very entertaining, but just seeing someone stand there, and it's good for about 30 seconds.
So how do you juggle, not the balls, everything else? I mean, that was a long list of titles that we read, including now author. Congratulations.
Well, thank you. So, great question. When I was working on the cruise ships, I did a 12-year run where I was on ships quite a bit. And you have shows, but you also have quite a bit of downtime. And what I started doing is I started collecting all these really unusual and interesting moments that would happen along the way. And I collected those for the last 20-something years, and now they're finally compiled into a book. Yeah.
What are some of the things that people will learn about you and your backstory from reading the book?
So people will learn about my story, but I think they'll also learn about their own journey. And that really became clear to me when my mother actually was showing it to a friend of hers, and the woman read one of the stories just randomly, and she took out her notebook and she wrote out longhand one of the pages and then tore it out of her notebook. And my mom said, what are you doing? And she said, this is exactly what I've needed to know to understand this dynamic with my family. I'm going to put it on the refrigerator as a reminder so I don't ever forget again. So that story resonated.
They're short, they're allegories, which I think is brilliant because people are so pressed for time these days.
Yeah.
There's a moral in each one. Can you give us an example of 1 or 2 topics that are in it that we might relate to?
Oh, absolutely. So here's kind of one that happened very recently. There's a little kid who lives down the street. His name is Hector, and he came over to help us in the garden, and it's kind of sad, but I noticed a squirrel had been hit in the yard. I said, Hector, go grab a shovel. And he goes, okay, and he runs off, and he comes back to the shovel. He goes, what are we going to do? I said, we're going to do some grown-up stuff. You up for some grown-up stuff? And he went, okay. And we went out, and we scooped up the squirrel, and we brought him back, and we dug a hole, and we were burying the squirrel, and Hector asked me after, he said, well, why'd we do that? I said, well, whose responsibility was it to bury that squirrel? And he thought for a second, and he goes, I don't know. I said, well, in life, there's going to be things that are clearly your responsibility. There'll be things that are clearly someone else's responsibility. But for everything that falls in between, ask if it's not something you can just take care of yourself. And if it is, take care of it.
I love that.
Wow,
Yeah.
I do too. I love that you can teach grown-up things, and you can teach the child kind of fun things too. I want to see, can you teach me something about maybe one of the tricks that you did?
I would love to. So tell you what, go ahead and just spin that ball to the best of your ability. We haven't rehearsed this or anything. Just
no, we certainly have not.
To the best of your ability, spin the ball, and we'll get a rough count of how long. Whoa. Not a problem, not a problem.
Wait, we got to do it one more time.
I saw you do it with a basketball. You can
do it.
You can do it.
I feel like I can do this. All right, we got to count. Ready? 1, 2. Oh, that was like a second and a half, right?
So
I gotta
we'll give you 1.5 seconds.
Okay.
So that was with no instruction, help, teacher, nothing at all. Now just hold up one finger.
Okay.
And just hold it solid as a rock. We're going to put it right on the edge of your nail.
Okay.
Now this is with the help of someone who's trying to teach you something. Just don't move. Don't move.
Whoa!
Oh my God!
Oh.
You see those skills there?
Okay,
How did you do that?
So with the help of a teacher, we tripled your time. Now let's add a tool. This is just a stick.
Okay.
Same exact thing, steady, just don't move at all. So we went from 1.5 seconds to maybe 3 seconds to now, with the help of a teacher and a tool, now your time just goes through the roof.
That is an
I don't
allegory
even
for
wanna
how important
blink.
teachers are.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
And how talented my co-host is.
Oh, thank you. I was
Just
like, I don't
saying.
want to move.
Thank you, Bill.
And that's what all the stories in the book are, just like that. I'm trying to write something that when someone can read it, they'll learn about my story, but they'll maybe learn something new about their own story, because we all experience so many of the same things, just at different times.
Beautiful.
Beautifully put.
So.
Bill, thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
All right, and his book, Stories That Move, My Life in Many Allegories, is now available.